Peace to all those with good intentions. Hope you're doing well, elite level thinkers. So we're going to talk about Fiona Hine, who was the organiser of the last protest that we saw in London a couple of weeks ago. Now, she was the one who allowed Katie Hopkins to speak. Yeah. Now we'll talk about that in part 2 because that's going to be long anyway. But for now, let's focus on Fiona and her organisational skills. Because remember, this event is supposed to be one of the most important events of our lifetime, right? Or mankind, humanity has ever seen. So it's very important that the person behind it and the people that they choose are very, very much at the top of their game. And there's no suspicions or doubts about them. Now, there's suspicions about a lot of them, but we'll come to that in part 2. For now, let's talk about Fiona. So she is a event organizer. You can see that in on the internet. Now, as an event organizer, you have to have certain qualities. So you have to be calm, you have to be rational, you have to be eloquent, you have to be balanced. Okay, so let's look at some footage and let's see if we see those qualities reflected in Fiona. Okay, 1 second.
You're a fucking liar. You need to fuck off. I don't know who you're here to support. You need to fucking leave. Everyone knows you're a fucking saboteur. You're a fucking liar. You're a liar. Yeah. And you've got no one. And isn't that great? What do you want? You're a liar. You're Dolores' fucking minion, and everything will be said about her and everyone else. You're a saboteur. You claim to be worldwide value for freedom. World renowned. Oh, look at you.
She's got a fucking Nobel Peace Medicine Prize. What have you got?
What have you got? Who are you to speak for anyone either? What have you done all year? What have you done? Nothing. You've done nothing. You're just trying to have a
with
profile.
government money. Controlled opposition.
Proof, please. Proof. Controlled opposition I am. Fucking proof then.
What?
Go on.
There is
Get it.
proof.
Put it out there then.
There is proof.
Put it out there then.
There is proof.
Put it out there then.
I will.
I'm telling you, do it.
I will. Inside.
Fucking smoke.
So here we have yet again members of the so-called truth movement outside a court once again making a total mockery out of themselves. How many times was she going to use the F word? Yeah, in front of a court. Yeah. So basically what I'm going to say about this whole exchange is that it's fake. It's a fake staged altercation. And the fact that you've got her right there with Tapman and Grey Bleeder tells you everything you need to know. It's just a shield fest. And behind her you've got Haikuku, the communist. And he even admitted the other day that Piers Corbyn is a Marxist as well. Okay? So that's out there now. Yeah? So this whole exchange is staged. It's not real. It's a load of bollocks. There's various tells, like the fact that when he calls a controlled opposition, she has to come to the camera, look at it and say, "Oh, controlled opposition I am." But like I said, even if it were real, which it isn't, you just made yourself look really sort of the total opposite of what I was saying you have to have qualities for as an event organizer. There's no calmness there. There's no rationality there. There's no diplomacy. Yeah? It's just swearing and aggressiveness. And the fact that you got Tapman there who incites violence against the police. The fact that you've got Grey Bleeder there who incites violence against the police. And who has pictures taken of himself with Paul Bloody Golding, far right. Yeah? And then it goes into a clip of her like crying about how everyone's against her. Who films themselves crying? You're doing that for attention. You're doing that to play the victim. People are not stupid, okay? You could have done this little speech after you'd calmed down, but no, what you had to do is you had to do it while you're so-called crying, yeah, because you wanted sympathy. Just like Piers Corbyn did his little fake event with the bribe so that he would get some kind of sympathy from some sections. But it has backfired, because people are coming to my channel and they're realising that all these people are just actors and they're fakes, and everything that they do is a lie, and they lie to us on a daily basis, and they're traitors to this country, okay? Now, if I'm wrong about anyone, if I'm wrong about Piers Corbyn, if I'm wrong about Fiona, if I'm wrong about Daz Kelly, if I'm wrong about Mark Windows, I've invited them all to come and speak to me, but they won't do that. Do you know why? Because they know that if they do, they'll get ripped to pieces, because they don't have the truth to stand behind them. So it's very hard for them to keep the lie going. Okay? So, this lady here is the one who organised the event that is so-called the most important events of our history, bearing in mind that the New World Order is about to be imposed. Yeah, using CV19 as the springboard. Okay, you really do have to question these people, okay? You really do. It's your responsibility. You cannot just sit back and just hope that they're going to turn out all right. I had someone leave a comment about Katie Hopkins. Let's just leave it to it and see what happens. No, you can do that if you want, yeah? But I'm not going to leave anyone to do what they're doing, because what they're doing is wrong, okay? So, you've heard the saying, for evil to happen, it just takes good people to do nothing. So that person who commented wants evil to happen, because he just wants us to ignore it, to not comment on it, yeah? So you've seen two sides of the coin of Fiona here, haven't you? You've seen her all so-called vulnerable, crying here. But then a few seconds later, you're seeing her like shouting the man's face, pointing her finger, saying F this, F that, you're a liar, you're a liar, you're a effing liar, you're a liar, all this. So it's almost like you're an actress, yeah? And what you're doing is you're playing the part of an event organizer, yeah? So certain people have parts that they're playing, okay? James Zikic, the man who claimed to be the bodyguard for David Icke. Now, I've spoken to Gareth Icke in private, and he tells me that David Icke never hired him as a bodyguard, okay? So make of that what you will, because when you go on James Zikic's website, he makes out that he was the bodyguard for David Icke, okay? So my point is, for all these protests, for all these political movements, certain people have got certain roles. So Fiona's role might be that she is a so-called event organizer. James Zikic is that he is a so-called bodyguard of David Icke. Yeah? And all these like fake filmers, their role is to be the journalists, the press, independent free press, my ass. Independent free piss, more like. And someone was telling me that you bought some riot gear. Why would you do that? Why would you do that unless you know that some sort of staged event is going to happen on the weekend or Monday? Yeah? It's like Subject Access when he said about the Million Man March. He said, oh, it's going to kick off. Well, how do you know that? How would you even know that? Yeah? You wouldn't. The only way you would know is if that's what was designed to happen. And it was. Because then what they did is they said, oh yeah, hundreds were arrested. Yeah, of course they were. Show me the proof. No, not the fake arrests that you show on Subject Access and Tyrant Funder, on Media Con Artist. Yeah? Don't show me those staged arrests. Show me the proof of hundreds of people getting arrested. You can't. Because it's fake. Okay? So, again, before I make part 2 of this, I asked Fiona to come and have a chat with us, but she won't. Okay, because too many people refuse the offer to come and talk to us because they're not confident in what they're saying, because it's not from the heart. Yeah, it's from a script. Okay? Now, before we end part 1, I just want to show you a couple of images. So here is Fiona, and with the nurse who was saying that CV was bollocks. Okay, now I think I need to do a video about her, because I've got the impression basically that what their role was to come out and say, yeah, I'm a nurse who thinks it's all rubbish, and then for them to get what's the word, a lot of flack because of it. So then it teaches other people to not come out and speak about it because it will happen to them. Okay, so that's a possibility, but we'll explore that when I do a video about her. I think it's Louise Hampton, yeah. And then I just want to end it on this photo of Fiona, the event organizer for the most important times of our lives as human beings in civilization. So here she is with Grey Bleeder and Alexander. Now, Grey Bleeder is the one who incited violence against the police in Bradford on camera, provable, and he is also posed for photos with Paul Golding, who is the leader of the far-right party Britain First. Okay, so how many times am I going to say far right and then connect it to the anti-lockdown? We should be absolutely disgusted with ourselves that we've allowed this to happen. And I've been warning people about this for probably about a year now, because I've been researching Speaker's Corner for over 2 years, and the same far right actors like Gavin, like Goggles Sean, like Chelsea Guy, funny enough, they're all in the anti-lockdown movement now, and they're boasting about how old Bill get battered everywhere they go. It's not a coincidence. Okay, so that's Grey Bleeder, who incites violence against the police in Bradford on camera, and who poses for pictures with Paul Golding of the far right. And then we have Alexander here, who was the one, as others have, who chased the BBC reporter. But just in case you haven't seen it, here is the picture that I was referring to of Grey Bleeder and Paul Golding there in the middle, and also with the hoodie on, yeah, all grey tracksuit, is Gavin. So Gavin and Grey Bleeder posing for photos with the far right. I've also got Gavin here, and there is Jeff Wyatt, another Tommy Robinson fan. So all these people here that you see are Tommy Robinson fans, so far right again. And here he is, Jeff, pulling off the Masonic gesture, as you do. And in case you didn't believe me, there is Gavin shaking hands with Tommy Robinson, because he made the effort to go all the way there to the court appearance just so that he could say, "All right, Tommy." Yeah. And then the guy on the right is the guy that I showed you a photo of on my community, who was stood behind Lawrence Fox. So all these so-called people from the truth movement, it's funny how they're all just so happy to be associated with the far right. If you had told me this 5 years ago, I would have laughed in your face. But this is the reality that we are now dealing with, okay? And like I said, I've been warning people about this for over a year now. And it's funny, isn't it, how Gavin and Grey Bleeder have a habit of picking their nose on camera as well, isn't it? Very strange. So remember I mentioned Alexander chasing the BBC reporter? Well, there you go. Okay? There you go. So Fiona hangs around with people who are responsible for chasing the BBC reporter, which then gives Boris Johnson the leverage to then condemn it and say that the journalists should be able to do their job. So basically the journalists should be able to carry on lying and use the fact that the anti-lockdown movement are a bunch of violent thugs. Okay? Yeah, so the picture of Fiona with Alexander and Grey Bleeder. It's funny how I've got now 3 images of Alexander and Grey Bleeder in a row that I can show you. And you know, the shills will say, oh, it's just a coincidence, you know. No, it's not a coincidence. You're all actors and you act together at a staged event. And that's why you're so bloody close to each other all the time. Stop trying to worm your way out of it. You've been exposed. Stop making up your pathetic excuses, all right? It's not going to wash, all right? So there's Grey Bleeder and Alexander. There's Grey Bleeder and Alexander with the blue, you know, police blue coat there. Funny how they're there together again. And funny how this is outside the same court that you just saw Fiona swearing at. And in this picture, funnily enough, we have got Alexander, Grey Bleeder, the guy that Alexander's talking to with the woolly hat. I'm researching him as well. Found him in a lot of dodgy situations with dodgy people. And then to the left of Grey Bleeder is the 93-year-old man who got arrested. The Assange fan. He's another actor. And then to the left of him, you've got the old man with the grey hair. That's the Uncle Albert character, who I've also made videos about. Okay, so literally in this bit here, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people that I believe to be actors, and we all believe to be actors. It's not just me, it's thousands of us. Thousands, can you hear that? Thousands of us. Okay, so if I were you actors, I'd be very worried. And don't get hung up on the word actors, okay? You can call them political infiltrators. You can call them controlled opposition agents, whatever you want to call them. But at the end of the day, they're fake protesters. That is one thing for sure, that they are fake protesters, okay? And then this one, which is from Getty Images, again, Grey Bleeder there and Alexander there. But again, it's just a coincidence, guys. No, of course they're not part of a staged event. No. It's just a coincidence. Thousands upon thousands of people in London walking at the same time, but yet the same people close to each other all the time. Coincidence. Okay. So let's leave it there because my phone's running out of battery. But yeah, so that was part 1 of our analysis of Fiona Hine. Now on part 2, what we'll do is we'll connect it all to Katie Hopkins, right? Because basically it's her involvement in all of this, Fiona's involvement, that led to Katie Hopkins becoming part of our movement. And when I saw that, I was bloody well disgusted, and I'm sure, well, I know a lot of you are, because I did a poll. Actually, let's see the results of that poll. 1 second. There we go. So we did a poll, 223 votes, which is brilliant, so thank you. And 80% said that they were not happy for Katie Hopkins to represent us in the so-called freedom movement. So 80% of 223 people said that no, they're not happy with Katie Hopkins representing us, as she is a professional troll / provocateur. Okay? So that is a bit of information to anyone who's part of all of this. We don't want Katie Hopkins as part of our movement, thank you. So anyone who aligns herself to that or allows her to carry on doing it, just be aware that you're going against the interests of the people. And you know what happens when you do that. Okay? And again, I'm going to say this. We are a non-violent channel. We don't believe in violence, okay? If someone comes to your house and tries to do whatever, that's a different matter, but we're not talking about that, are we? What we're talking about is, I'm not asking anyone, and we're not asking anyone to go and confront the actors and be violent or do anything. None of us want that, okay? I repeat, none of us want people to go and confront the actors or be violent towards them, okay? And what we'll do is we'll leave it on this image here of Fiona Hine laughing in the middle of what is supposed to be a serious event where people are getting brutally arrested. That's what they like to say now, all these shills, yeah? Brutal arrest. The brutal arrest of Resistance GB. No, the staged event, the staged arrest of Resistance GB. And as I said, here we have Fiona laughing her ass off during what is supposed to be an event that they're marketing to the world as a brutal arrest. Yeah? Little tells here and there are what blew their whole plans out of the water. Okay? So, again, why are you laughing, Fiona? If this is a serious event and it's real like you guys are making out, then why are you laughing? Laughing your ass off.
But I want everyone to know that I'm not control of position. I'm not anything. I'm not all of these things I've been accused of. The control of position. I'm not. I want everyone to know that I'm not control of position. I'm not.
If you say so, Fiona, but the only real way to do it is to come on the John Overkill channel and have your say. Because unfortunately we are the only channel that actually questions the truth movement, okay? And we're the only ones who question staged events. So if you want to clear your name, that's the only way you can do it. And like I said, I'm going to make part 2 of your connections to Katie Hopkins, the fact that you've allowed her now to come on stage and represent us and make us look like a bunch of far right pigs and animals and scum and whatever, yeah? Anyway, guys, ladies and gentlemen, peace to you all. Peace to all those with good intentions. We are the elite level thinkers, okay? And where there is darkness, we shine our light the brightest, okay? So take care of yourselves and of others. Peace for now. Take care.